Dale Foreman here, everybody. Going to take you through a ride with Cognos Analytics and data modules with relative time. This stuff replaces the old stuff in PowerPlay Power Cubes that you used to do to get year-to-date and prior year-to-date. It's all here in the new tool, and it takes a couple minutes to add it to something. Let me show you here in the Cognos tool. Wait a second. We don't want to start with this old stuff. Let's go out here to the newer stuff. And you know what? I usually can do a new here in the new interface, do a new data module. What I'm going to do real quick is go to content, and I'm going to open up an existing data module that's got 5 tables in it with some joins set up just so I have somewhere to start. Oh, and by the way, since this is relative time, I made sure the data that this one connects to goes through the end of this year so I can see things for year to date versus prior year to date. All we have to do to apply the calendar is simply go add sources. And when we add a source, we can go back to the team contents, find the folder for the calendars. And I typically use one of the fiscal calendars. If you've got a calendar that goes from January 1st to December 31st, you can use this one too. But here, the calendar comes into play, and the very first thing you have to do is break the link. Now, what I'd like to do is apply the calendar to my ship dates for my order details. I'll turn the properties on. And when I hit the ship date here, you can see I've got a lookup reference now, besides knowing that it's a time and it's a date. The lookup reference now has an option to get to my Gregorian calendar, which is above, the one that's hidden up here to users. If you do want to show it to people, you can show it to the users, but I like to keep it hidden. Now, what we just did is applied that calendar to this ship date. Now what I want to do is apply that ship date to these metrics so that I get relative time. And you just do that here under the lookup reference, where you say these metrics in this folder go back to this item that is representative of that Gregorian date. And you know what you get? If you make it a little bit wider and you look at one of these, you get all of the relative time periods in here. And you can try this really quick. I tend to like this, not with a list here. A lot of people don't know you can change things once you're here in testing and data modules, but I prefer to use a crosstab. And in the crosstab, I can go ahead and take, for example, my product types as my rows, and I can go out here to order details, note my quantity and my sale prices. I can say how many did I ship year to date this year, how many did I ship prior year to date. Oops, little undo there. How many can I do prior year to date? Thank you, Rachel. And how many can I do the current year? And I drop this in here as well into the crosstab. And when I run this, whether I use Page Design, Page Preview, or I run this, you can see it's doing relative time analysis for me out of the box with Cognos, defined in terms of each of these. And the beautiful part about it is, in the data module, you can go back and actually change this object to be different relative times just by going up to the calendar. Right now we've got things like prior week, prior month, current month. These are all just defined. Current year, for example, is just a definition. And when you see the definition, it says it has to be greater than or equal to the D year field, and it's referring to the as of date, which by default is our current date, today's date. And it has to be less than the D year field for the end of the year. And it's just bringing these things back for you. All of these are definable. I built one for a customer that actually changed this paragraph to say go back a month and then look year to date 1 month prior. And you just have to change the relative time that it's going against. So with this, I hope you guys had a good time looking at relative time. I hope you give it a try.